There are over 90 antiviral medications that are approved for use against certain viral infections. Though most viruses can clear up without any antiviral medication, healthcare providers do use antivirals to treat chronic or life-threatening viral infections. In today's video, we are going to talk about antivirals, how they work, and their role in combating infections. Hi, and welcome back to my channel, Learning Biology with Dr. Vanessa. Before we start today's video, I want to take a minute and ask for your support. If you are finding value in these easy-to-understand biological videos and want to ensure they keep coming your way, I encourage you to become a part of our community by hitting that subscribe button. Your support fuels this channel's mission to make biological concepts engaging and easy to understand. Thank you for being a crucial part of our scientific journey together. Disclaimer: the doctor in my name comes from the PhD I earned. I am not a medical doctor. My videos and content are for educational and informational purposes only. This is not to be used in lieu of medical advice, but to educate you. If you have a true medical emergency or issue, please see your physician. Antiviral drugs are medications that are designed to assist your body in getting rid of viral infections. These drugs work by inhibiting or stopping the virus from multiplying in your body. This lowers the amount of virus in the body, which can help lessen symptoms and allow you to recover more quickly. Since viruses invade human cells, drugs cannot be given that would harm the host cell. It is important that the drugs only affect the virus itself, so antivirals work by interrupting the virus life cycle. They do not inactivate or kill the virus. In order to understand how the antivirals work, we need to take a closer look at viruses and their life cycle. Viruses are very small organisms that can infect a host cell. Viruses are so small, they can only be seen with a microscope and thus fall under the category of microorganisms. Viruses are unique in that they can only replicate and survive within a host cell. Without a host cell, they die. Viruses are pretty simple. They include genetic material, either DNA or RNA, that is packed into a shell made up of protein called a capsid. This shell is sometimes also covered by a lipid membrane called an envelope. To really have a good understanding of how antivirals work, we need to take a quick look at the life cycle of a virus. The viral life cycle is made up of the following stages. Attachment, where the virus attaches to the host cell. Entry, where the virus enters into the host cell. Uncoding, this is where the virus is going to release its viral genome, either DNA or RNA. Then there will be genome replication, where it copies its genome, and synthesis of viral components, which is going to include transcription and translation in order to make those viral components. Then there is assembly of these viral components and the genome in order to make new viruses, and then finally release from the cell so that it can go and infect other cells. Antivirals work by blocking one of the steps in the viral life cycle. The first step of the viral life cycle is attachment. These antivirals that act as attachment inhibitors work by blocking the ability of the virus to bind to the host cell. If the virus cannot attach to the host cell because of an attachment inhibitor, then the virus cannot enter into the host cell, replicate, and so therefore the virus cannot cause disease. Entry inhibitors. These antivirals prevent the virus from entering into the host cell, the second part of the life cycle. A virus can enter through fusion or phagocytosis. One way in which these drugs can work is to prevent fusion of the virus with the host cell membrane, thus preventing the virus from entering into the host cell. Uncoding inhibitors. These types of antivirals target the uncoding phase of the viral life cycle. They prevent the capsid disintegration. If the capsid can't disintegrate, then the virus's genetic material isn't released into the host cell, and the virus can no longer replicate. Reverse transcriptase inhibitors. These antivirals are mainly used for the treatment of HIV. HIV is a retrovirus, a special type of virus that uses reverse transcriptase in order to replicate itself. These drugs target the enzyme reverse transcriptase, which allows RNA to be converted into DNA. Since this is a process unique to viruses and not our cells, it is generally safe to use these inhibitors. Most of these are nucleotide analogs. This means they can incorporate themselves into the growing chain of DNA and stop the process early. There are also non-nucleoside inhibitors, which bind to the reverse transcriptase itself to stop its function. Integrase inhibitors. These drugs prevent viruses with a DNA genome from incorporating their genome into the host cell's DNA. These drugs target integrase enzymes, which viruses like HIV use integrase to incorporate their DNA into the host cell genome. If they block this enzyme, then they block the ability of these viruses to incorporate into the host cell genome. Polymerase inhibitors. DNA viruses that have large genomes usually encode their own DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase is something that our cells use and is within our own cells in order for DNA replication to occur. However, since viral DNA polymerase is different from that found in our cells, it is a target of some antiviral drugs. These drugs bind to the viral DNA polymerase and block its enzymatic function. Protease inhibitors. Some viruses need a specific protease to cleave precursor proteins made in the host cell into fully functional infectious particles. Protease inhibitors can block the protease so that the precursor proteins cannot be cleaved. Without cleavage of these proteins, the virus cannot assemble. Neuraminidase is also a protease that is targeted. Neuraminidase is required by influenza to release viruses from the host cell. By blocking neuraminidase, new influenza viruses cannot be released from the host cell. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this gives you a better understanding of how antivirals work. If you found this video intriguing and educational, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more easy to understand and engaging science content. And let us know in the comments what other topics you'd like to explore in the future.